Episode 23. Brad's favorite driver is number 23. Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
That's your favorite
Yeah, big
driver.
Bubba Wallace guy.
Yeah, big Bubba fans here at the Letter Eat Podcast. I actually don't hate on him as much as I used to. He's not as much of a culprit as we might think.
Honestly,
all the folks behind the scenes.
I
keep
don't even
my mouth shut on this one.
think about Bubba Wallace ever in my life, honestly. So.
I don't either. I've long let that go. The whole anyway, that's another subject. But it's Turkey Week. It's cold and wet, rainy. I haven't slept any. It's been a good day.
Why haven't you slept? Why don't you sleep? I don't know the story.
Well, Friday night I stayed up talking to Beau till about 2:00 in the morning. He had some stuff going on, and I was just talking to him and didn't sleep much at night. And then the last 2 nights I've worked nonstop.
No, yeah, you had to work last night too.
Yeah, last night I worked. When I got home, I pulled in the driveway. It was 5:03 a.m.
Oh boy.
Ate breakfast, went back to work.
I went in, took a shower. I laid on the couch. I got maybe a 30-minute nap and went right back to it. So I'm feeling great.
It's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah.
Better than no work.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. We've had plenty of work to do, and I was bound and determined to get that job done. So I wanted to get it done and get it delivered. Because I take care of the people that take care of me. I just put it to you that way.
So you done with it now? Did you get it done?
I got it done. I got it done, and they were happy.
That's good.
When I walked through the door and they're like, "Dang, that was quick," I'm like, "You dang right." You know, I didn't tell them I stayed up all night doing it, but I got that done, and I missed the darn iRacing race last night.
Yeah.
Which that wouldn't have mattered anyway because I've been having issues with my computer. It tried to do an update or something last week, the iRacing update that they usually do quarterly, and I don't know, and I might have to get Will on it because I don't understand how all this works. But whenever I did the update, it's like it wouldn't finish the update, and then when I tried to like reset it or restart it, that was a big fat no because ever since that happened, everything was corrupted. Like all the files were corrupted.
Didn't it tell you not to turn it off while it was updating?
No, it didn't say anything. It would just sit there and spin, and there was nothing. And it just stayed there, and it would not.
I'm about to say that's computer software 101. Do not turn off or remove power while updating.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'm not a computer guru. Sorry.
I appreciate the ride offer, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I tried to get Brad to fill it just so I could get my points, and then he's like, nah.
We didn't get home till after 7 or about right at the time. So.
Well, that'd been perfect.
No, it wouldn't have been. I can't do that and just go. I gotta go to Brandon. See ya.
You do that. You should have, because your freedom is about to end.
Yeah.
It's getting closer.
I know you're about 9 months pregnant here, but I gotta go down to Brandon. See ya. I'm out the door.
Not just a race, but iRace.
Yeah, to go iRacing. Yeah, that'd have been went over real well. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sound like my mom probably. Y'all are playing video games.
I was gonna make a quick comment about that. I have been asked numerous times in the last few weeks on social media when we talk about people about like, well, what starter class does Riverside need to have, or what does my kid need to be in? Because everybody's kid's Kyle Larson.
Because you hate slow people.
Yes, and
he does hate slow people.
And I'm just gonna tell you, go spend $2,000 and get iRacing. That's how you'll learn. It's not you're not gonna learn how to.
I don't know that I
drive
believe
a car.
that.
Well, hang on, let me finish it. It's not gonna teach you how to drive a car, but it'll at least teach you racecraft and teach you not to do stupid things. So get iRacing for $2,000.
Yeah,
cheaper than a race car.
I still think learning on the track's better.
Go rent a ride.
I didn't say it's
go
not
rent a ride
better,
for $2,000.
But
yeah,
but you could do that and not tear up somebody's stuff and not spend a whole lot of money.
But you'll hop in that car and you'll expect that wheel to turn on its own, or you'll expect.
You think my wheel turns on its own?
Yeah.
I raced on my rig.
Yeah, it has its own input.
No, it
does not feel anything like a car.
No, it does not.
Yes,
Look,
it does.
I'm not saying it's the answer. I'm saying that is the starter
I'm just saying, if the first time I got in a car, I was expecting to feel like iRacing, it's gonna be over with.
Look, the only thing I take away from it is it does teach you racecraft.
The only thing you might gain from it is eye discipline.
That's racecraft. That's kind of what I mean.
But you're still not gonna know how to handle a car.
No. It's a different world. But I'm just saying.
I guess I did get lucky when I started because I started when the 305 class started at Riverside, and when it started, you couldn't have raced sprint cars within like 5 years, I think. So when we started it, all of us were first timers, except for Donnie Howard. But Donnie Howard hadn't raced in like 20 something years, so it was like basically all beginners with Donnie Howard who had some laps and stuff. And so we all were just kind of out there together, brand new.
That
So
sounds like a bad thing, but you're saying
it was actually pretty smooth. It
Really?
didn't get crazy or nothing. We was all pretty calm and stuff. Yeah. Like I don't remember anything crazy just happening during that time, except for the second race out. I was trying to pass Donnie Howard for the lead, and I run over his left rear. This was when the guardrail was still on the inside. It had openings. I hit the opening head on. My second sprint car race of my career, right to the head on into the guardrail. We were talking about that actually at Riverside, the last race. I was talking to Marshall about it because I think about how crazy that time was when they still had the guardrail down there. Like you could run the bottom, and folks would just be leaned on the guardrail, trying to high five you as you come by and stuff. And Marshall, like there was big tractor tires in front of the pillars. And Marshall would always like stand just leaning on the tire, just watching the cars go around. Except for that night, I came at the tires that he was on, and he started to dive over four-wheelers, and people were scattering and running everywhere. Yeah, it was like crazy time to think about when they had the guardrail on the inside. People just standing right there on the guardrails, watching you cruise by.
Have we shouted out to Marshall? Because, the last race we ran at Riverside was his claim.
He said, I talked to him about it. He said, I was like, you really quitting? He said, I might run a little bit. I was like, that's what I figured. I was like, Riverside races, he'll be there.
I'm gonna take my shout out back then.
Yeah, he'll be there for the Riverside races.
It'd be hard to quit cold turkey,
without a reason.
He's been doing it since I think the early 90s is when he started over there, like 92, 93, somewhere in that range.
So longer than I've been born. Gotcha.
Yes, he's been doing it for a while. So like I said, he's got 3 cars, so if they're going to Riverside and he's taking his kids, might as well just go run, get start money, whatever you want to do. So
just throw the car in. That way, if you do get the other car set up fine, you just hop in and roll.
Yeah.
Let's maybe think of something else too while we're sitting here talking about it. Somebody posted, what was that post? Maybe Scott Frazier posted like he was doing off-season prep. And I seen Jan Howard commented, and he was in the comments, so he's showing like his cars in the shop. And he was talking about how he was building up a 360. He's going to make it a rent-a-ride for this area. So I guess that's going to be available. I mean, there wasn't no talk of pricing or anything like that, but I just caught my eye. I thought that was kind of interesting, which, I mean, I don't love rent-a-rides, but whatever. That's kind of the thing these days. But I guess if somebody wanted to go race that's never raced before, and just like they want to go try it one time, they can go rent it and be piss Brandon off really bad,
Gonna say Billy Joe Bob thinks his son's Kyle Larson. 360.
Yeah, so
how much? $10,000?
Really,
that ain't nothing. He can do it.
Really piss Brandon off real good,
Then he rides around the bottom. Tracks up rough. Fast. We're all sitting there flying. He's just sitting there riding around the bottom like this. In the way.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like we've talked about before too. The rent-a-ride's kind of a cheaper way to go racing than to try to buy all the stuff outright.
Yep.
And do your own team.
100%.
Which is crazy, but it's kind of the reality.
Sounds like you might have a ride next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it was 2 offers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, Darren Donovan offered to sell his or something.
Car,
yeah.
And then,
but
I
the guy that
hit him up and see what he was thinking about it.
And then,
I wonder if
but the guy that won, he
guy won the race is offering you right.
Talk about drive one for next year.
Beau texted me, said, I guess I got to buy a suit. I said, no, you can borrow mine. What do you mean? I don't know. It might be for bad juju and that thing. You might ought to get you another one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got a long way till next year.
Helmet, I got you, man. Don't worry. Don't go buy a bunch of stuff for all that.
We'll see. See what happens.
Yeah. You think is Hannah gonna be okay with you doing that?
She don't care.
She don't care.
No.
Really?
No, she wouldn't care at all.
Really?
She'd be locked in.
Mine wishes she loves to watch the races. I think she wishes I wouldn't do it. I think she'd enjoy it a lot more if I wasn't in it. But I mean, it is a little bit different than a stock car. But
I don't know. I mean, you get door slammed or you get spin out and somebody broadsides you in the door in a stock car. It hurt you pretty good.
I mean, yeah, maybe. But they are doing about 50 mile an hour at Riverside. It's not like they're doing.
Well, it is the stock car class. I literally watched about 20 cars drop out last week.
Well,
Yeah.
there was one cat that got hurt a couple years ago. He got door slammed like that, and his head hit the top of the door frame and like knocked him out, knocked him silly for a little bit and stuff. So of course
You can get hurt in all of it. It don't
You can
matter.
get hurt in all that.
Oh yeah. A full containment seat might have helped that a little bit, but you know we're stock car racing, so just do what you got to do to get there. You know.
Yeah, we got a lot more money in the car than we do anything else than the seat. Well, what did you want to get to? You had a plan. We were sitting there talking last week.
I remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
And the second part of what I'll talk about will kind of lead into what I was thinking about. It's just throwing this hypothetical question out at the end.
After we done shut everything down, we were getting ready to leave last week. Brad's like, I got an idea for next week's show. And I don't remember what it was.
And I remember.
And then I texted him today, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing tonight? He says, I don't even remember.
I remember now.
Okay,
so.
all right, good.
But yeah, just two of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on was kind of cool in the Missouri area, more specific like Farmington and Doe Run Raceway, which Doe Run is about 15 minutes to the south of Farmington, I believe. They're pretty close, but Doe Run runs like it's a mini sprint track, first off. Well, it kind of connects in because the podcast guys up there with the Dirty Right Rear podcast, they kind of do the same. Like we kind of promote Riverside and talk about Riverside. Well, they talk about the area tracks up there like Coles County, Farmington, Doe Run, Southern Illinois Raceway, like all that's kind of in their circle up there.
Man, Southern Illinois is such a fun place.
Yeah, and so they have like Jeremy Sutton and Jeremy, I think it's Boyer, but it looks like Boyer. I think it's Boyer. I could be wrong on that.
French.
I don't know, Cajun or something. I don't really know. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Ricky Booby.
But so those two guys run the Dirty Right Rear podcast. And I'm gonna say Boyer. I'm just gonna go Boyer. So Boyer,
America, dang it.
So Boyer and Sutton, they've had like this beef going on with Doe Run Raceway. They've talked about Doe Run, and like the kids over there really like the podcast because they would put on these like whoever won. The podcast guys had this big gold money sign chain, and the kids, whoever won, would put the money chain on, do their pictures or whatever. They all really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
Apparently, like they were pretty plugged. Like they had the kids on the podcast and all that thing, so they all were like really plugged into it. Well, like apparently, from what I've gathered, is the track owner, he didn't really see the value in their podcast and really wanted nothing to do with it. I guess they tried to get him to come on. They really didn't want much to do with it or whatever. And Boyer, his son races mini sprints over there, so they were over there quite often. Just still went over there anyways, even though they didn't want to be a part of it. But they, on the podcast, they wouldn't name the track anymore. They would just call it the track south of Farmington. Once he kind of shunned them, like, we don't see any value in you, then they were just called it the track south of Farmington.
Yeah.
Strong arm.
Well, the track has been for sale, for a while. Well, there's a guy that was partners with Boyer and his mini sprint team, and I cannot remember his name now, but he was also part of a management group, and this group bought Doe Run within the last couple days. And so, like, to spin it all back around, he asked Boyer to be the general manager of Doe Run. And so, like, to bring it all together is like that podcast, was pumping that track, and they were kind of shunned. Well, now he gets to be the guy that runs it, general manager of it. And
that's pretty cool.
And so they get to be a part of that next year. And I've listened to a lot of the pod. I didn't get to finish it, but I listened to a lot of it. And they got some pretty cool plans,
Are they on Apple Podcasts or what are they? Or is it YouTube?
Yeah, I watch it on YouTube is where I watch it at.
Because I listen to Apple Podcasts on mine. I'm one of the Apple people.
Yeah, and so now he's going to be general manager, promoter, and they kind of discuss their plans. They're going to put some fencing and do fencing, try to redo the track, get a little more racy. Apparently, the way it made it sound was it kind of caps off on top, so you only raced with like half the track, and that was like a big complaint from a lot of the guys that raced there. And And Boyer, like he's you know, he's involved in racing. The son races. He goes over there, so he knows the complaints. He's heard them all, so he knows kind of what direction we need to go ahead and start with. To, you know, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take time for them to develop their system and what they want to do. But he was pretty pumped about it, and that's good to have a promoter that's pumped and got some backing behind them to where they can kind of push that thing. And they want to work together with the area tracks like Southern Illinois and Coles County. Try to collab. Don't get on top of each other, or let's work together. Let's do, you know, they didn't say this, but throw an idea out. Let's do an interstate series 3 weeks in a row. We'll pay this one. You go to Southern Illinois, you come here, you go there. You know, they got the, you know, possibilities are kind of endless with that deal. And I like to see them trying to work together to make it better overall than trying to fight against each other or put one out of business or, you know, to those type of things. So it's exciting to see a guy that's been there and involved in it and understands it, going to be able to take it over. And they want to work, you know, with Farmington. He threw out a pretty cool idea, I thought, today was the Friday night before Queens Royal, having like a mini Queens Royal there because they're 15 minutes apart. You know, you may have a mini sprint Queens Royal.
That'd be pretty cool.
You know, and then Saturday night you can come to Farmington and watch the big Queens Royal. You know,
like $5 off your ticket at Farmington on,
Queens Roll,
you know.
Hey, would you call it the Queens Roll though, or what would you call it?
You call it the Jack's Roll or something.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, like the Joker's Roll.
You know, they talked about, you know, throwing that little mini Queens Royal deal out because, you know, Joe B would run that with his mini sprint and then run the big car. And there's a kid up there, Cole Tinsley, that's gotten really good in mini sprints. He's got a sprint car for this year. And so, you know, it'd be something he could do that. And you could, you know, do a double duty type of thing.
You could put you win both, you get a little bit more money. You might get more tracks at both, or more cars at both tracks.
Because there's guys that have mini sprints and 410s and stuff like that. So you know, that's something you could do too. Or I like the idea of you come to this one, we'll give you $5 off your ticket when you come to, you know, Farmington.
Yeah, for a spectator type deal. You know, if all your people coming to Farmington are coming to Farmington anyway.
Yeah.
But you add in, you know, you might get them there, or, you know, if you could save $5 and then, you know, split the difference. If you're working together, you could split the difference. So $250 per ticket, basically. You can. I'm sure.
Too. Like if I was a mini sprint and I had one, like if I was right here, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you could run one on Friday night and the next one on Saturday, especially if there's bigger money available, if you did win both, that would be sick.
And they actually run B mods at this track too, which is, you know, mainly a mini sprint track. So I've seen some videos, but I can't remember exactly what it looks like. And I meant to go watch today. What was I going to say? Whoever just messaged me just threw me off. But yeah, so they could have, what was I saying?
B mods.
Yeah,
B mods. So it's like, it seemed they even like during the podcast while I was watching, I think it was Joe B or somebody that's cruised for Joe B said, Joe B said, let's run sprint cars there. And they got to discussing, can we run sprint cars there? How can we make it work? And he had actually Googled Earth, like Macon, which, you know, is really small if they run sprint cars. And Macon's actually a little bigger, Doe Run's a little bigger, a little wider and bigger than Macon. So, I mean, if that's the case, you could make it work.
Cars on it?
Yeah, Macon's tiny.
Yeah. So, you know, that would be something cool for that area as well. You know, need to not run them, you know, often, but one off race when there's nothing else going on or something like that.
So good for us, something else is close.
Yeah, and I mean it's a small track.
Or another.
It's a smaller track, so you
Saturday
know you wouldn't need no 950 horsepower to get around there. Yeah. So it'd be a good leveling ground as well. So I mean, yeah, they got. I like the direction. I feel like they'll take good care of it, and those guys up there all have a connection to it. They're excited about it because it's been kind of getting ran into the ground the last couple of years, I guess. A lot of people didn't like the previous owner, didn't like the way he talked to them and those type of things. And so they got some new blood coming in, and so that's exciting for them. But also the same podcast, Dirty Right Rear podcast, they brought in Daryl Dickerson, which he's the one that promoted Farmington this year. Mm-hmm. And he had two guys with him, so kind of let you know what was coming with that because there was a little uncertainty with Farmington coming into this season because Daryl was wanting somebody to
get out.
He was wanting somebody to come in and help him so he could step back a little bit. Well, he's found 2 guys to come in with him. And I took a picture of his name because I couldn't remember it. My memory is not that great. Dustin Wynick and Chris Boyd Jr. So the way I understood it was Chris Boyd was going to be like the track manager, promoter, and the Wynick is like, I guess he's more the money man coming in with, and him and Daryl are going to be like, I guess Daryl's going to be like administrative role, like a smaller owner of the thing, where the Wynick seems like he's going to be more the money guy coming in with the ideas and putting them to work, I guess you could say. And so they're going to be the ones running Farmington this coming up season. And they had a lot of really good stuff they talked about as well. Is they're going to take off 10 foot of dirt and put new dirt on the top 10 foot of it. They're going to resurface the whole track, which is exciting because it needs it. It's well beyond, used up at this point. And in 1 and 2,
all the way around the track.
yeah. And 1 and 2, I don't know if you ever noticed, going into 1 and 2, there's an opening down there with like all the mod guys will go off and stuff.
Yep.
Well, the way I think I understood is they're going to close that off all the way. And then, how coming out of 1 and 2, the wall pinches in coming out of 1 and 2. Well, they're going to push that out to try to make the corner more sweeping instead of you go in and then you got to turn again on exit.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird because you go in, you turn real tight, and then when you get to the middle of 1 and 2, it just opens way up. And you feel like you're supposed to go this way, but it's way too far.
Yeah.
This wall's way out there.
Well, that's 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is where you get in and you come off on exit and the wall is pushed in towards you. So they're going to push.
Take 10 feet of dirt off of the whole track.
They're going to take 10 feet off and put 10 feet of new dirt on top of it. That's the way I understood it. Yes.
Like 10 feet down.
They got to go down because if you put
we're not talking about a 10-foot wide stretch. We're talking about 10.
No, the whole track is going to be resurfaced.
It's a lot of dirt.
It is a lot of dirt.
So I maybe I heard it wrong, but I could have swore he said they're going to take 10 feet.
No, it's a lot of money.
They might put it on top, but because then you'll have to kind of readjust your walls and stuff because you're going to just going to lose your wall and things. Either way, they're getting 10 feet of new dirt all the way around on it. They're going to change up 1 and 2 a little bit. 3 and 4, how it's got this big wide opening in there where all the people walk by and all that stuff. Well, at the Queens Royal, we had a car come off and fly off the track, hit the wall right there. So they're going to try to close that wall up to make it tighter so you can't just fly off the end or go real fast. They're going to try to close that up, and they got new fencing they're going to try to get up. They got to reposition the wall down the back stretch because of how they're changing everything else. And they got right now they don't know if they can get it done by this year, but they got new lighting going to go up there as well.
That's a good thing.
So yeah, so
dark.
they're putting a lot of.
There've been worse places though.
They're going to invest a lot of money and time into it to try to get it better and bring it back to what it used to be, and so that's exciting for that area. I went up there and raced. I'll probably go up there and race again next year. So.
I really hate that I missed out this year because I do enjoy that place. It's been a fun place to go to the last couple of years since the new owners came in.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan of the previous ones, but
Daryl was really good. Like he was doing what he could, going as he could. He got new boards and for the bleachers, but you kind of got to go through the fair board on a lot of this stuff to get them to do it. So I don't know if they bought all that stuff outright or what, because they got all these plans. But Daryl, he did what he could when he could, so they just kind of worked at it, and he would just do stuff as he went. And I liked him. Of course, it's kind of like Clayton.
Is he not going to have anything to do with it now?
He's going to be like I guess he said administrative role. Okay. So I guess if they need a little bit of money, he can throw some out there. Or he can take care of all what's coming in or doing that type of stuff because he wanted a smaller role, but still wanted to be a part of it. He's got kids playing baseball and things like that. And when he was just him, he had to be over there all the time. To where I think that's where the Chris Boyd Jr. is going to be day-to-day race weekend operations.
Yeah.
Like he'll be the guy to do all that. And if he needs something, he can go to them too, and you know, get whatever he needs or fix whatever they got to fix. And so it takes a lot of load off of him.
Yeah.
To not have to, you know, worry about all that stuff day in and day out.
What
So
you're saying is Queens Roll in 2026 is going to be lit.
it seems like it's going to be good. You know, that'll give them plenty of time to work in the new surface as well and try to get it tuned in. I would like to see them change 3 and 4 a little bit. I don't mind the shape of it, but you know, you go in, it's really banked, and then it flattens off all the way
And that wall
through the exit.
Sneaks out on.
Yeah,
Sneaks
if
out
you get up over the lip and it just flattens out, they could just make that banking like progressive all the way through the corner. I think it would make the whole track racier because it's so hard to run the bottom in 3 and 4 because you can go in on the top and angle across, or if it's got a cushion, you can just keep your speed up. Where 3 and 4, you kind of go down there on the bottom and pinch it, and it's real slick on exit, so you just lose everything on exit.
Yep.
And so it's kind of, I'm going to say get one lane. You can kind of move around and have some fun, but if you get that thing progressive, I think the bottom could be good, top could be good.
You don't think it would become top dominant though if you put banking in it?
I don't think so. I mean, if you got the track like the cushion got really good, which I mean that's a lot of tracks. If the cushion gets good, it becomes top dominant. But I think it would. Me personally, I think it would be better. You know, I wouldn't say you had to get crazy with it either. Just get it to where it doesn't on exit just kind of fall off all the way around there. But I mean, but it races pretty good in my opinion. The way it is,
it's without
the only thing.
Just the shape of the racetrack makes it technical, and that's what makes it fun.
See, the only thing that I noticed a lot this year is if the top didn't like build a cushion early, or if the top didn't have any type of speed, we would all run the same line going in 3 and 4, and that would be the first spot that took rubber every time because every car would just run the same line. Modified, stock cars, everybody just you get up on the thing and then you dive down through the middle, cut across, and so it would rubber up there before anything else would. Just because there was
year before last Queen, whenever we ran it, like the whole track was pretty gripped up in 3 and 4, like on the entry of the corner. But you would like just drive in straight up top. And as soon as you got through that, you just turn across straight down the hill, and you smoke up tractor tire. But,
when it just pulls you right into it.
And so that night, you know, it didn't take any rubber or anything. So we had some like options to go. Now everybody was kind of doing the same thing. But when it gets cleaned off like that and there's nowhere else to go, we just run that same line and run it, and it just wears it, you know, smooth out. But to kind of cap it all off, which will lead into what I was going to ask at the end, but they did announce some pretty cool stuff, especially if you live close by Farmington. Their point fund was pretty, exciting, but it's also pretty aggressive as well. So for like the B mods, they were offering some sort of carb package. I don't understand all the carb stuff, but some sort of carb package is supposed to be really good, or $1,000 to win the points for B mods. And then for the A mods, it was $2,500 to win the points, and some really trick carb setup that was like $3,000 or something like that. So really sweet carb setup.
That is pretty cool.
And so, and then for the sprint cars, they said that in mind. I was like, oh damn! I was like, that's pretty aggressive. There you have a choice between a new chassis. They are still working with a couple different brands. They don't know who they're going to use yet.
Jerry Russell.
Well, that's probably what it ended up being, but a chassis or $5,000, and it's going to be 5,000, 2,500, 15, 1,000, and 500 for the top 5 in points.
Dang, that might be worth racing at Farmington.
Well,
so
I
you know, definitely for those guys that
go ahead and announce that 2026 that we're going to be going to Farmington.
And that's what they kind of talked about too, is they want to build their deal back up to where, because they used to have Tommy Worley, you had the Montgomery brothers over there every weekend. Like they had I found one. They had a stacked base. You know, back in the 2000s era, they had a really stacked base. And so they're wanting to build that back up. And they also, you know, talked about they want to work with other people as well, you know, not just crush on top of other tracks or just try to, you know, you can only race 410s here. Like, we understand Power I is going to be in the area. We understand High Limit's going to be in the area. Like, not just try to make you come race there every Saturday. So
Yep.
it won't be a every Saturday because they have a big mod race they do, and they have different events. Where sprint cars are their main thing, but you won't have to be there every Saturday night to run for the points.
I still think, not to interrupt you, but like I still think what would be cool, and I don't know how all this technically works, but I think what would be cool. Like I thought the comp cams deal between I-30 and Riverside was really cool. I thought that was pretty good between both tracks. And you wasn't going to the same place every single week. I think it would be cool to do something similar like that with Riverside, Benton, Farmington, whatever. Have like a
Yeah,
like a little season between
I
those
was going
three.
to say it'd be like a
Would be
series.
cool.
It'd be a point series. You would have to get them, since Farmington Riverside didn't have a point series, it's that good. But with you would want to have something that where it didn't, like where you had, if you had 4 tracks, you had eight race weekends and 2 races per track, and then you do a points thing for that. You have to schedule it where you get cars in. You would want all your locals to be able to participate.
Yeah, well,
So you wouldn't want to penalize. That would be 8 race weekends where you could still run local. I guess you could still run local points nights, the nights that you ran those races at your track. Just the local guys register. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I don't know how how they come up with the schedules, but I know it's got to be frustrating too because you're kind of waiting. You're always kind of sitting there waiting on, well, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? In my head, that's how I picture it anyway. Like I could imagine trying to make a schedule. You're thinking, well, where's High Limit gonna be, or where the Outlaws gonna be in that area this weekend, or where's Power Eye? Where's this? Where's that? So I imagine it's pretty tough to
that's what
try to
those
make a schedule.
Yeah.
that's what those guys said. They had just taken over that week, and so they were talking about they're going to start getting on the phone with people and making all these connections. Well, Daryl actually did say, like last year, he was talking to another track. He didn't say who the track was, but he said, I was talking with another track and we were talking about schedules, and we got off the phone, and the next day that track just put out their schedule. Like we discussed all these things, and then they like took the information I gave them and just made a schedule or put out their schedule, and just flopped it out there. He's like, I was trying to work with people. And so he didn't say which track, but it had to be either Peevely or Benton, and Benton put their full schedule out yesterday. So like their deal is locked in and out, and now, which I mean they have a couple 410 shows, but they're all at the end of the year, so it ain't gonna really affect Farmington. But like we talked about working between each other, like I would like to see them be able to work together, and even like you said, throw in a Riverside there. Maybe not necessarily have to do each track that month, but Farmington could do 2 weeks, Benton could have one, and then the next month Riverside have one, because Farmington's main deal is sprint cars, and it's always been that way. They've never stopped running sprint cars. They've never done like Riverside, go 305 racing. They've run 410s always. So like I feel like you got to give them the upper hand.
The same list as Williams, Port Royal, and all these major places. 410 weekly series.
Yeah, they're the ones that's stuck it out, and they've been out there with it. So,
which is so bizarre. I still can't. I just can't get past that. To think that this little bitty racetrack over here in Farmington, Missouri,
one of 14, one of 14 out there.
One of 14. The rest of them's up there in Pennsylvania and Ohio. That's just crazy to me.
And so now they want to build it back up, but like which kind of leads me into what I was wanting to throw out is like this hypothetical. Let's say for Riverside, the 90s, early 2000s, they ran 360s every weekend, and they had their base. They had 16. It's kind of like Farmington. Farmington has 16 to 20 cars that are going to be there every Saturday, no matter what. Well, Riverside, they had a time when it was, which we can kind of get people, whoever's watching, if they got any ideas, they could throw it out there. To build the base back up, is it even possible to get a core of 16 to 20 that'll be there every Saturday night? Like, could it be something like
you talking about 4 360s?
Yeah, like 4 360s. If you wanted to do it like Farmington basically it's 410s, but it's open. Like if you wanted to bring a 360, you can. If you want to bring a 305, you can. Like, would it be some sort of deal like pay $1,500 to win, $200 to start, and have the same thing, have $5,000 point fund for 360s at the end of the year, or call them open sprints,
Yeah,
or whatever
or
you
I
want to call
mean,
it? Would that build?
if you, that's what my initial thought when you started talking about that is, yeah, you kind of got to be respectful of these national shows because if it pays $1,200 to start and they're local,
How many of the locals are gonna go make that show though?
I mean, a select few, but it takes your show because if you're paying what did Farmington pay to win?
$1,750.
So $1,750. So you have to be first to get the $1,750 versus you have to start to win $1,200. Well, I mean, the people running first, second, third can probably go get in the show and make that $1,200. So they're gonna head out. And if they do anything, the payout just gets bigger and bigger if they start. So I mean, you put that points fund on there, at least now they're racing for 17 and something. It's 10 or 15 or however many points races a year that you got to be back. So my initial thought is if you're a track owner and like if you're in, I don't think you could do it solo. You might could. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But if you had 3 or 4 tracks where you can put a series together that can pay out, if you come and you win these points races at these tracks and having enough races where you got to be doing something to win the points, right? Like you have to perform well at a variety of locations, and then you have a pot at the end of that it's worth winning. Why do we have to be respectful of these national series? Because you're right.
I mean,
You're right. 80%, I'm going to say 80% without doing any, but 80% I feel like is pretty close to you don't even have a shot at making a national show.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably closer to 90%, honestly, when you really start looking at it.
Select few that can
It is
actually go
very
do it.
few people are going to go to a national show and unload and make
There are some really good locals that struggle to get in the shows when they're here.
It depends on car count too. Like
True.
like we went
It
to
does.
we went to Peely. There's 60 cars there.
Yeah.
Where you could go to an outlaw show and there'd be 30 cars, so your chances get a little bit better.
You could.
But it's still not easy. That's for sure. But I thought about that stuff too. Is can you even get a base built back up, especially in this area now? Because for like Farmington, they never stopped. They have a base now that comes there every weekend. And even if you had high limit in town, their best 3, their top 3 in points that run, they're the ones that race there every weekend. They're going to be there regardless.
Yep.
Well, see, our area, we stopped running 360s and we went 305 racing. So like when I was growing up, what you did, you went to Riverside on Saturday. That's where my dad went.
Is where you went.
You did Motorsports Friday, you did Riverside Saturday, and we had a base and we had a core, and that's where you did. And that kind of, it kept out other series from coming in. They would come, but it would be once or twice a year, and they would go back to Oklahoma or far away to where it didn't affect you. But see, in my opinion, we stopped doing that, and that allowed Pete to come in. That allowed ASCS to come into our area. Well, now they build schedules around our area because we haven't had a weekly racing. And so like right now, Pete, he's already got his schedule worked out.
Yeah.
He's already had that worked out. So say my theoretical idea, we put that into motion. Well, when he comes to Guntown, Mississippi, he's going to be paying $3,000 to win.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be having to choose Riverside or that.
I get that you're probably going to burn up a tire or two and you're going to spend more on fuel, but we all talk about how expensive racing is, but when it comes down to it, we don't care. We're like, oh, $3,000 and I'm going to burn up 2 tires? Who cares? Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it.
But if you were legitimately running a $1,500 night and then had a substantial points fund at the end of the year, all of a sudden $3,000 ain't that much money.
I was going to say, heck, 5,000 for points for a local track, that's good
huge
money. That regional championship that I won, the regional championship that we would drive 10 hours to Texas for one night was $3,000 to win that championship.
Yeah, I mean that's not,
Especially
if you start throwing, if you start having, there were several race nights at Riverside this year that paid more than that. So you still have you still stack up, if you've got a 10 race say 15 race season, you put 5 big money races in there.
Mm-hmm.
It all counts the same points fund at the end of the year, but then you have your big money. I mean, I think there is some loyalty. I think people would appreciate having an opportunity to stay home for one, like you said, fuel, and you're going to burn the tires up. You're going to burn a
Well,
whole
you're not.
set.
You're not as likely to burn the tires up at Riverside.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to, but if you're driving there, I mean, how many, those nights get late for regular people. I mean, and I know we do it and we love it and we don't complain it. And, you know, it's just life is normal, but man, it's a whole lot easier to go to Riverside.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So where are you at?
Another thing I thought about in this as well is when the 360 thing stopped being weekly, what's the word? It changed up the dynamics of the racing in this area. So like I said, when I was growing up, you wanted to run 360s, ASCS was the thing, Riverside was your track. That's what we knew growing up. Like I didn't even think about a 410. Well, now these kids coming up, they didn't have the 360s in this area. They didn't have Riverside every Saturday night. So they want to go race other places. They want to get to 410s eventually. They're not thinking about 360s. They're not wanting to be a 360 for lifer. They're not thinking about the money like that.
Yeah, they want to be outlaws.
They want to go do different things. The younger kids coming up now don't care about 360s or running Riverside every Saturday night. So that'd be the tricky thing in my opinion. Of course, the dad and the parent, it probably sounds great to them, but the kid is going to want to go do other things and go different tracks. And that's
well,
where
the kid can get a job and dad can get a Riverside.
I agree. I just say like coming up like Connor Ray, Braden Taylor, like those guys aren't going to want to run Riverside every Saturday night. They're going to want to run ASCS or USCS and run different tracks like they got to see us do, because that's what we did the last 20 years is we got to go run other places, other tracks, and have all those things, and they want to do that as well. And like we've talked about before, people don't just lock down to one track and then you do that you have your kid Connor Ray, you have him and you run Riverside every Saturday, and then 5 years from now he gets old enough until he's owning it on his own. He wants to go race somewhere. Well, he sucks because he's raced Riverside the last 5 years.
Yeah, because
you have to race against some of the best in this area, but you still only run that one track for the last 5 years.
Is that too loud? Okay, all right.
Oh,
sorry, the washing machine's going off back here in the back. I'm washing my work clothes in the background. Sorry.
And so yeah, that's one thing. I feel like there's a lot of obstacles for Riverside to have to overcome to get it back, because they let it go and now you got to get it back again to where like at Farmington, they never stopped it. So I feel like they have a better shot of building it back up. But at the same time, I think about too, like a kid like Corbin Keith, he doesn't want to run Farmington every Saturday. He wants to go run High Limit or Power I. And Gage Montgomery, he don't want to be there like his dad raced every Saturday at Farmington. And Tim and them did do some different stuff, but he was mostly known for like racing Farmington all the time. And Gage, he wants to go do different things. So I think you can still have your good base, but I don't know if you'll get Gage to stay every weekend.
Perky's in the comments. He said, "Do we not remember the base we had when we had 410s?"
That's a good point. Perky's talked about before, is late 90s, or no, early 90s is when we went from 410s to 360s. And before that point, we had Sammy, Jeff, Greg Hodnett, Bobby Davis.
I'll say this
Terry Gray
was one of the hotbeds for having your outlaws. Like this is where all
like
your guys were coming from.
Your pathways. Mike Ward, Terry Gray, Ronnie Daniels come out of here. I mean, who else was out on the outlaw tour for a while? I mean, a lot of those guys, that was like they had a pathway from out of here, but when you took the 410s away, it just cut the water off and nobody went.
Yeah.
It dried up, and then nobody went since the early 90s. Nobody's been out there full time on the outlaw tour, and it just kind of dried the whole area up, and it's never came back.
So what is your gut tell you? Like, what would you want? What do you think would be the answer? Like if you made the decision, you had the power to make the decision of doing the 360s, have the points fund, everything Riverside, or what else? Like what would Brad do?
I would just I would open it up just to do open sprint cars. If you want to get you a 410, they sell them. There's one for sale. It was probably an older style. It was $12,000. You could have got that. You have your
Race
410.
ready, wasn't it? I think I saw that.
Yeah, just ready. Like I think it maybe had 12, 15 races on it or something. You get that 410, have open sprint cars. If you want to trip up to Farmington or Benton when they have their end of the year deals, like you don't need a massive motor to run the stuff around here. And it's like 12 grand to just do that. And I would probably just do like 2 weekends out of the month. And it's just going to be hard to have a consistent base to build it back up around here to get 16 to
You can't just
18.
jump. You can't just jump in waist deep right off the bat.
Yeah,
when
like
you're saying
it's
you
gonna
want to dip your toe in it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would be a process, but it's like I said, it's just the younger kids.
You say open, it's run what you brung.
Basically, yeah.
no
If you want
matter
to have
what you got.
410, 305, 360, like whatever.
Do you think the problem is that the tracks are cutthroat with each other right now? Do you think that they're trying to compete too much against each other? Do you think if we actually tried to work together and wouldn't you think it would be better off to work with each other?
I definitely think, you could get work together, you could build it up a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got 2 tracks in the area that could possibly do open dates. Because at one point in time, Benton ran on Fridays and Farmington ran on Saturday, and their core would go Benton, kind of like around here. Their core would go to Benton Friday, Farmington on Saturday. Which I know Riverside's kind of the same boat as Farmington. They've kind of been built on sprint cars.
Yeah.
So it's tough not to have them there at all, because that's what Riverside was built on, was sprint car racing. So I think at this point you kind of got to get to where you work together to build it back up.
I feel like you would solve the issue though. You're talking about like, even me, I don't want to race at the same place. Like I love Riverside, but I don't want to race there every week. I just don't want to. I like changing it up.
Well, no, I do. I like Riverside.
If you take 4 tracks and have 4 classes, and I'm just doing 4 because there's 4 weeks in a month, and every week somebody has the next class. The headline is that class.
You're talking about swapping classes each week.
Yeah, I mean that because you can't not. That's the thing. You say Riverside's built on sprint cars and Farmington's built on sprint cars, but if you're gonna run sprint cars on, the people in the stands are probably not gonna care if 30 stock cars or 30 mods or 30 late models show up to run a show while the sprint cars are running the show next door. I mean, if you want to go watch sprint cars, then drive the blank amount of hour. I mean, with Farmington, the 4 tracks we're talking about, it's like a 4-hour radius from here. So if you want to go watch sprint cars, go watch them. They're right up the road this Saturday. If not, wait, they'll be back next week, or they'll be back in 2 weeks, or whatever it is. So the tracks.
We've also go ahead.
You still have. It's not like we're all just leaving, because you can't not have, if you're going to build a base, you can't not have racing, because part of that base comes with fans. You got to have something for the fans. You want to create that return audience over and over again. So you got to have that Saturday night. You got to be doing something.
Yeah.
So you got to have somebody racing there on Saturday night. And if you have 6 stock cars show up and 6 minis show up, ain't nobody coming to watch that.
See, there's so many ways to look at it. So like, I think I brought this up when I got to talk to Tony about Eldora. When I run into him, we were talking about events and buying racetracks or whatever. He was talking about. He said, people call me all the time wanting me to save this racetrack. He's like, I don't have this money tree. I don't know where y'all think I have all this money. But his advice was, if you're gonna own a racetrack, host only special shows. He's like, we don't have weekly racing anymore. We don't do any of that. Anything that rolls through Eldora is a special event of some type. And for me, like, I like the idea of I don't beat the dead horse here, but I like the idea of hopping around between 3 or 4 racetracks. I like that idea. But I also love the idea too that, like, I miss the Rock and Roll 50. I miss that. And I like the Flip Flop 50. I like having the ASCS races come through. I like all that stuff. It like having special events is cool. It feels, the atmosphere is just different. You know, so but I love the atmosphere of the Rock and Roll 50. That was one of my favorites of the year. That was one of the things. That was one of the reasons I loved short track was the atmosphere. And I think if whatever you do, I guess no matter what you do, just having that atmosphere.
Well, that's
is
what
important.
if you had, I would think, I may be wrong, but that's what having those 4 classes paired up every week, every place has a big event because you're catering to one class. You're bringing all these cars in, and you're going to put on it. You're going to have 40, 50 cars from between. If ever, let's just say everybody from the tracks does show up. So like our 10 cars show up, their 10 cars show up. That's 40 cars that you've got to hot lap or qualify somehow. I said hot lap, meant heat race or qualify somehow, and then you've got to put them in a show and figure out. I mean, you're looking at 3 races right there, three shows right there in a night for 40 cars, maybe. I mean, you might have to finagle that a little bit for 40 cars, but every single weekend is a big event. Now, I mean, I know how it is. If 40 stock cars is not the same thing, doesn't bring the same crowd as 40 sprint cars. I understand that. But that's still a good show, and you could have that kind of environment. It may not be elite level Eldora, because I think Tony's got a lot more going there. He's got Eldora, for one. So he's got a nationally recognized track that it gets mentioned in the news, in dirt news, every week. Somebody's talking about Eldora this, Eldora that. We mention Eldora every week, and we're supporting Riverside.
Yeah.
They're not making national news, so I don't know that Tony's logic is 100% apples to apples on that deal. Because how are you going to ask this guy here?
Also, Eldora is also like in the middle of nowhere, so you basically got to make it a destination to have a race.
And when you're getting people out there, you got to make it worth their time too. But I mean, what if every week, maybe it wasn't an Eldora show, but what if every week there was a show happening at your local racetrack, and like you look at your phone schedule and you're like, oh, this week it's my favorite.
That really is, like we talk about the problems with local racing. That it really is a lot of the problem. Is you go to look at some of these tracks, they'll have 8 classes, and it's 602 late models, 604. We have A mods, B mods, mini stocks, cruiser cars, like stuff that people are not going to get up off their couch just to come make it.
And not for 6 of them, not to watch 6 cars go around.
And that's kind of what some of the what Farmington is talking about as well, is trying to build up the fan base that has drivers that they come cheer for, which they do have their guys. But I'm talking maybe more so for this area is when you go to Riverside, it feels like it's the turn 2 crew and nobody else knows who anybody else is on the racetrack. Like we don't have a connection with the fan base. And so that would be one thing, that trying to build that back up like it used to be, back before we have all these other forms of entertainment. But I don't know, it's just a very tricky deal, because I think about when I was going with my dad, like you had Eddie Gallagher fans, you had Mike Ward fans, you had Jim Bowden fans, you had those things.
You really don't have that anymore.
No,
I don't think so.
Unless you're in the stock cars.
I get.
Stock cars have fans.
Well, Dylan Knight has a whole fan. Okay, everybody goes there for Dylan Knight or Derek Hager. And so, because I lost count of how many times I walk in the stands or go sit in there to watch a race. Hey, what car do you drive? Like you never felt so small in your life. You're like, the number eight sprint car.
Nothing's worse.
What color is it?
Yeah. What number? What color? Yeah. There's nothing worse.
I think there's 4 camps at Riverside in the stock car class that everybody knows.
True. Yeah,
everybody knows who they are, and everybody knows what car they're in, and everybody knows it's going to be one of those 4 guys racing for the win that weekend.
Yeah, they do have. Stock cars do have a nice little fan base.
I'm really glad that we don't do driver intros for that reason. There's nothing worse.
It's like Brad Bowden.
One person.
No. What you hear is, go, Brad, go. Yeah. That's Kim.
Then you have your Derek's 2 people down. It's Derek Hagar's like at this massive roar.
Yeah, over in turn 2, they're all going nuts. Even when they push him out on the racetrack and he goes through the corner, he's getting pushed by and they're just going nuts. But
it's like, I don't know.
You could, and Stormy, we talked about this last week. Stormy Hood said that you know, if you can race Riverside, you can race anywhere in the country. And we kind of touched on that last
Yeah,
week.
and I agree.
I
Everybody out
agree
there.
to it. I agree to some extent. You just can't stay there. If you can learn to race there and race good there, but you gotta leave and go do other things as well. Like you can't just solely go race Riverside and then expect to go run good everywhere.
Oh,
You're,
yeah.
you know,
My dad, when him and Melvin were going racing different places, they would come back to Riverside. They went and raced different places. Like that was probably when he was at his best. But then towards the latter years, probably starting like mid '90s, they ran basically Riverside every Saturday. And if he ever went somewhere else, like Motorsports Park, he sucked at Motorsports Park. There would be sometimes, you know, he could get it going, but he got to run in Riverside so often, you know, for just years and years straight that basically he became Riverside only. You know, he couldn't get going anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I love you, Dad, but that's true. He
knows.
He knows.
We're gonna talk about that on Thursday.
You know, he knows.
Brad
too.
said you sucked on the podcast.
So, you know, I that's where like I do agree. Like if you come Riverside and you win, you beat really good cars. But if you stay there and race there every weekend, well then Derek, he's going to go run Benton. It's going to be slick as hell, and he's going to be good, and you're going to be looking like out to lunch because you run Hammer Down Riverside every single weekend.
Yep.
And it's still going to be a totally different world when you step out there. And so I think that's where I think that goes back to the younger guys coming up is dads have seen that or been a part of that. They don't want their kids to fall into the same thing.
Yeah.
That
So
comes
they
back
wanna
down
go
to track ownership too, though. I mean, there's a lot of that where if you're not going to work with your local tracks, if you're not going to work together to create a schedule that doesn't infringe on one another, then it's really, you can't blame a dad, especially a dad with a kid that's got that shows that he could be something.
Yeah.
The next Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I mean, for real, use him as an example. If he's racing to Riverside every week, and you can't be mad at that guy for taking his son somewhere else to get him some different kind of experience on other track. So, I mean, you kind of you want your fan base and you want your local racers to be something, but you also want to have an opportunity for your kids that are coming up, or even your guys that aren't kids that just love to race at home, but also want to go and make sure they're staying on top of their game. Want to go race somebody else.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the more we talk about it, the more it comes back to, I know I'm gonna get hated on for saying this, but it comes back to track ownership.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
I had a guy, Lee Downing. I was eating lunch with him, and I mess with Dad all the time because I say that, but I don't know. It just when he said it, it stuck with me. He said it in a funny way. He said, "It falls on leadership," you know. So like if you can't be cutthroat. You know, I actually talked to another powder coater today, and we're kind of working together on some projects, but we're both gonna make money. You know, so it's kind of like when we both took a step back, it's like, hey, let's help each other, and we're not sitting here trying to cut each other's throat to get this job.
That's exactly right.
We're actually helping each other, and we're both making money now. So I kind of look at it that way. It's like if there's a way to work together, you need to work together, in my opinion, in this situation, especially with the way things are. I just think that this is a different day and age. We need to be working together.
Well, most people in life, and there's always going to be a bad apple, but most people in life, if you work through the good times with them, they're going to be there through the bad times too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes along with business. I mean, depends on who you run with. So don't come on here and give me all your examples of all the mistakes you made because you ran with the wrong folks.
Yeah.
Because you find out, you know, when something don't go quite right, you find out who you need to run with or not. But if you're running with the right people, and maybe that's why the tracks can't work together, is because they're not all the right people. I don't know. I'm not calling any specific track out. I'm just saying, I think that if you find people that would work together in the good times, they would also hold each other up in the bad times and figure out a way. I mean, and right now is not a good time. It's a bad time for the racing industry.
This all made me think of something. You know, it's not that I don't like green M&Ms. I just don't want them every day of the week. I want a red one. If you know, you know.
It's like, you know, it's like you say, like I raced Riverside from like 2000. 14 through
gonna say,
17,
you
like
were
every
over- I was gonna
weekend.
say you were there every week.
Like every weekend, I raced
305s and
305s
360s
over there all the
everything.
time, and like I'm just to the point now where I want to do different stuff like that. Like I got
Yeah.
people willing to take me to do that type of stuff, and that's
Yeah.
what I want to go do before. Like I talk about younger kids want to do. Well, me, like I'm in the twilight of my racing career,
And still want
so I want to go do these things I never got to do or never got to try out. Like I want to go do
Yep.
those things before,
Yeah.
you know, Tony might decide one day like I don't want to do this anymore, you know, or Peanut, you know, he's getting older. So like while I still can, you know, I want to go do these things that I have the opportunity to go run, you know, ASCS races that I've wanted to go run, or go run Peevely with Outlaws and do those type of things before it, you know, it does end. And so
And the truth of the matter is, you hadn't missed anything.
what do you mean?
I mean, you hadn't missed it being gone.
Oh yeah.
You're still doing things that are moving you forward versus if you were still racing at Riverside. Now, I'm using Riverside because it's real life. It doesn't matter what track you throw in there. Anybody listening can throw in their own home track. If you can, you have not lost an opportunity because you weren't racing at Riverside.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to change for it to matter. If you want to keep your base up, back to where this started, if you want to keep your base up, it's got to matter that you miss it. Or Farmington. Like if you missed this year at Farmington, what did it matter?
Yeah.
It mattered something because you raced up there every other weekend.
Yeah. Well.
Dad, he said it falls on leadership. I knew he'd find that funny.
Yeah, and I seen Perky on there say back in the day we had the half-mile motorsports park and the dirt track at Byhalia. The Byhalia, they closed down in like the early 90s. So that thing went away. And the motorsports half-mile, they never got any cars unless it was a special because it was too big.
Yeah.
They had to cut it down like a 3/8, and then they finally put the quarter mile up. And so like my dad didn't go run the half-mile because it was hard on stuff, you know. So I mean, yeah, there was different
I
options.
really hate that
one
I can't
time, but
remember that place. I remember this is, you know, it's kind of weird how your mind works. The only thing I can remember about that place is I can remember leaving and it says, "Thank you, race fans."
I
I can remember walking out of the parking lot, but it was like I gained consciousness at that moment. I don't know why, but like that's all I can remember of that place. I cannot remember what it looked like.
The big half mile, like what I remember about it was when you went to the bleachers, they were all concreted. And like when you go into Riverside, you could fall through them.
Yeah.
And I was a kid that I was like, which one are we going to?
The one that could kill me?
The one you can't fall through. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to that one. Go to Riverside and walk up through the bleachers like terrified to fall through. Yeah. That's what I remember the most about between those two tracks was the bleachers.
I can remember Dad talking about it, and we watched mini sprints over there one night apparently, and it was some guy, I think Garrett. He raced a number 9 car. You know who I'm talking about? I can't remember.
Like Garrett Mack.
That's it. He was racing a mini sprint there, and he come sit in the stands with us apparently, and talked to us a little bit. And then when I got in mini sprints years later, he was still racing with us. You know, so I got to meet him then. But I just can't remember anything about that place. And I watch video of it, and I'm thinking,
what if it comes back?
What if it comes back?
It ain't.
I don't know.
You gotta put $1 billion into that thing.
I was gonna say that every year, it feels like they're
still churning.
That's what I'm saying. Every year the rumors get to flying. You got this David Cuddle guy that's what does he own? IHRA? I think he owns IHRA. Whoever owns IHRA is supposedly going in and buying this place and Memphis. And you know, but I've heard all kinds of rumors about that. I heard he was gonna start like an IHRA stock car series, and like I've heard all kinds of stuff, but I don't know what's true and what's not.
It's a lot of stuff going on, flying around right now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, nothing's gonna happen. But
you'd basically have to bulldoze that thing to the ground and just start over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dang, Farmington's about to put 10 feet of dirt all around the track.
I mean, that's way less of a task than the motorsports part.
Don't you think wouldn't it be cheaper to put dirt on top of on most of the pavement, maybe shorten the racetrack up and run the pavement track, do something different?
At motorsports?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
You might could use it.
The
use
grandstands, or I guess the grandstands don't matter too much.
You talking about getting money to get.
Shambles.
I was about to say to get that where you could put people back in it would cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Just to get it up to date and ready to go.
Well, I know a guy that would buy Memphis, but he has told me numerous times that he does not care about oval track racing. If it ain't drag racing, he don't care. So if he buys it, I'm gonna say he ain't got to worry about a dirt track or an oval track of any
Maybe.
kind.
Just depends. Just depends on who. Just depends on who's in the club.
Yeah.
That's all.
And
Apparently, we got gold chains coming our way.
gold chains.
Yeah, remember I was telling you about.
Thanks for the good words, Goldman. Oh, that's hey. If you send them our way. We'll flat. I'll wear one. I might even wear one to church on Sunday. But what else did you have? We need
Well,
to
Beau said it. Skip the whiteboard. He's got to go. So
skip the whiteboard.
Skipping the board.
I'll just say Dane Culver sucks. And if you leave your car on the racetrack, they should drag it to the infield and leave it there for the rest of the night, and you can come get it afterwards.
Yeah.
For
I
anyone,
agree.
anybody that doesn't know, he flipped in qualifying
On his own.
by
I mean,
himself. Got out of the car. The official was trying to check on him, and he snatched away from him. Then walked off the track, left his car there, and they couldn't figure out how to get it out of gear. They had it hooked up on the front. They couldn't figure out how to get it out of gear. After about 15 minutes, they finally brought in another wrecker, lifted it up, and took it off the track that way when they should have just shoved it down there and let it sit. And you can come back at the end of the night and get it. So, yeah, Dane Culver, not a big fan. I was really pissed off. It's already 10 o'clock our time, and he's out there messing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Well, I'll be quick. You ain't got to comment on it. But if you haven't already seen it, if you have X at all, like the app, what was Twitter, go look at Bob Pockrass's tweets about the lawsuit.
That's another whole hour conversation.
That's what I'm saying. That's a whole other conversation.
We'll have a lot more to talk about next week.
We can get into it next week. Yeah.
Hey, isn't the?
It starts.
I'm about to say it starts
Monday.
next week. So heck yeah, we could talk about that.
So there'll be a lot going on.
I'm excited. I hope they don't settle. I hope they absolutely stick it to NASCAR because they have really shown who they really are. And I kind of see a change in leadership down the road because there's no way they can recover from what we just read.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, one more thing. If you got any connections with the Dome first weekend in December, let us know because we're considering maybe taking a trip up to St. Louis. But let us know if we should or should not do that.
Beau just brought that up right before we sat down, by the way. Would
Yeah,
you even go?
I didn't even tell Brad.
I'm about to say, I don't even think you.
There's no way
I was going to say, you'd probably get in a lot of trouble for
everybody,
going.
but me and Brandon are considering.
We'd
Brad's
get
gotta
up there,
stay
she'd
home.
call me, my water broke. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Brad's got to stay home for this one, but we're thinking about going.
Brad is
Let us know what you
Brad is
think
the
about
reason. Brad's the reason I've even considered going. Because I mean,
It's the best. It's the best show.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It's way better than Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best show.
And see, I love Chili Bowl, but I don't know. I'm not
going
to
to
be
say
honest. I'm not a fan of watching dirt late models, modified stock cars. Like, it's
I'm
not
the
my
biggest.
favorite.
I'm the biggest late model hater everybody knows.
It's
I
not-
can't
it's-
stand late.
It's not my favorite. None of it's my favorite. I would love to race one, but as far as watching it, I just enjoy the sprint cars better. That's just what
Well,
I'm into.
We'll see.
We've
The
been
thing-
told that
the
we need to
thing-
go, so we're
The
thinking
thing
about
that
going.
got me on the Dome was the year that we went for Perky's bachelor party, and we went, and they had the top 6 come out, and the top 6 get like a video introduction and stuff.
Yeah.
And Brandon Shepard's was Ted Nugent was introducing him, and then they played what's the song? Is it Stranglehold?
Yeah,
Stranglehold?
yeah.
It started like Stranglehold. I was like, okay, I'm a huge Brandon Shepard fan now. Like, I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
Like this, it was like it just catches your attention. Like there's fire going off, there's fireworks going off in there. The lights are down. There's lasers flying around. It's
See,
like it's a show.
See,
Like,
that's how I felt. That's how I felt about like Grizzly games. I don't watch NBA. I don't care about
Yeah.
basketball. But when you go to the
when
game,
you go there, they
it's
keep
fun.
you. They
It's
keep
awesome.
you entertained.
It's
the
cool.
whole time.
It goes back to the atmosphere thing I talked about. Like if you can create a cool atmosphere, that's
Oh yeah,
that's
it's the
important.
best. Like the race actually got the late models get pretty good. The modifieds
ready
aren't
for
that
the
great. Yeah, yeah, it's a show.
Yeah,
for
Landon,
sure.
Landon Coat. He even said, this is my 3rd year going. It's a ton of fun. Yeah, I'd like to go. I think it'll be fun. Everything I've heard about it's
They
good.
expect 38,000 people to be there this year.
Golly.
Like when we went, they had just started opening up the top level. There's like the front straightaway side, I think, was pretty full, and this year they expected to like almost be completely full, in there, which is going to be pretty wild, especially when they light up the dome. Everybody's got their cell phones out, and they're playing Lee Greenwood. Everybody's waving their phones around and stuff. Like it's crazy.
All right, I'm
Do
sold.
we have any local drivers going?
We have in the past.
Landon just said he's going.
he
Well, I don't know.
racing?
I don't know if
To
he's
race.
racing.
I mean, I think
I don't know if
he's
he's
racing.
racing.
I know Dean Carpenter, which they don't run much around.
Is it
here.
invite only? Or
Let
can you
us
go?
know that
Is
too.
it
If any
invite
of our
only?
local guys, local late
Modifieds
model
are.
guys,
Anybody, any
modified
late model guy can go. I believe
Let
they
us
might
know
have
if you're
capped
going.
it this year, but 'cause they were getting pretty high in numbers. They might have capped it, but I know previous years any late model could go, and they did modifieds as invites for that deal.
Well, Dylan Knight, if you're listening, I would love to race the late model at the Dome. That might be a good first place to go, you know. But all right, we gotta go. Beau's got to get out of here. We appreciate y'all listening. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for getting in the comments, talking with us a little bit. We'll be back next week, I believe. I really want to get Brian Bell in here. I've been wanting to sit down with Brian for a while, so hopefully we can get him in here. Yeah, we need to talk to him. Brian, if you're listening, you've got plans next Monday night. You got to be here. Make sure you guys go like this video and go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Go all our social medias. Make sure you give us a follow. All that fun stuff. But we appreciate y'all being here. Hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Let her eat.
Let her eat.
Don't eat too